Welcome back, everyone, to episode 8 of the DeadCast. To my left are my best friends, Brandon Lang, all the way in the end. You're pointing the wrong way.
I know, I didn't know which order you were going to go.
That's Brandon Lang, in case you guys have never seen this show before. Then, next to me is the most beautiful thing on earth, Mark Hicks.
I get hurt when you say that.
You're beautiful, too.
And of course, Oliver Tirada. Also, the most beautiful thing on earth.
Yes, but I'm not. That goes to Brandon, don't worry. I know you feel left out.
Brandon's the most pretty thing on earth.
Yes. So yeah, today's episode was the second episode of season 6 of The Walking Dead. And it's called or JSS. And yeah, this was a really good episode. Do you guys have any initial things to say before I get into it?
It was fucking awesome.
It was.
It was fucking great.
It's what I really wanted the premiere to be.
I know, yeah.
They should have just taken that episode and that episode and made it one, and then I would have been a happy little boy.
Yeah. It's nice to focus on the community instead of the main people that are always there.
Well, I was worried about that because I didn't want them to focus on the community.
Yeah.
Because, and we'll go into why. So the show starts out with Enid, which is Carl's boo thing from last season.
Say it so awkwardly. It's just Enid.
It's a weird name. I don't like that name.
I don't like it either. Enid.
Enid.
I'm sorry to anybody who's named Enid.
Sucking on a freaking warhead.
It's just
Enid.
Who names their child Enid? It's just a weird name.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, go on.
But it starts out with her and how she ends up in Alexandria, and it's cool. Like it looks like her family's car breaks down during the apocalypse, and there are zombies coming, and well, looks like she locked herself in the car, or I'm sure her parents locked her in the car, and then she's just watching them getting munched on by zombies. And then when she leaves, she just you just see her surviving, and what's cool is she's not really talking, so you're just seeing her acting, and it's really well acted, and it's really well shot too. It's just her, living in the apocalypse, hiding from zombies, eating little turtles.
Jessica cannot watch this episode.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the turtles.
That was the cutest little turtle.
It was. Yeah, they do all up close, and he's like, ah. Yeah. And then like you see her eyeball.
He's like,
I'm like,
me.
Yeah. And then they cut to her just eating. It's like a little like bowl inside.
We're forgetting she's marking everything with JSS.
Yes. Yeah, so she makes little turtle bones that say JSS, and then she carves in the ground JSS, and no one knows at this point what that means. But you do later on, we'll explain. And then she ends up in front of the Alexandria, and then she's contemplating, should I go in? Should I not? She's been on her own this whole time. Looked like for about a week or two. And, she looks, obviously, she decides to go in. And then, it cuts to, the song, The Walking Dead. And then it just shows you at Alexandria. This clearly is before, the horn incident, because they don't talk about it or react to it or mention it. So you're kind of seeing how they are. And again, the Alexandrians really annoy me. And we were talking about this earlier, that there's just way too many people to keep track of. Like, oh yeah, who's this bitch? Who's this? She's dumb. She's talking about making pasta. So it shows this cool, scene. It kind of follows Carol around a little bit, where she's cooking with the other women, again, playing, the housewife or whatever. Oh, I don't know nothing. I'm a great cook. I'm sure she is a great cook. And then, they're giving like cooking tips and all that. And she tells this one lady like, hey, if you quit smoking, I'll tell you how to make pasta with your 2 hands. Cause she's like, oh,
stop smoking inside
the house. Yeah. And she was like, oh, I wish I could have this spaghetti maker so we'd feel like we were in Tuscany and we can make the most delicious pasta. And she was like, you can make it by hand. I can show you how to do it, but you got to quit that disgusting habit of yours.
It's killing you.
Yeah, she's like, it's killing you. There's already enough of that. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, and then it cuts to the new doctor in the Alexandria, since Pete's dead and in the middle of nowhere, and
Get to learn a little bit about her.
Yeah, she kind of looks like the female version of Eugene.
Eugene's lover.
I'm predicting that. Yeah, that there's just going to be a little romance.
I think that's a
You're like me. We should get together. I love what does this say in the last episode about the hair thing?
Yeah,
I forget. It was cool though. But yeah, so then they show her as a new character because I've never seen her before at all. I don't think she even was in the background.
I mean, she may have been, but
no, I think I remember her.
I never noticed her.
Earlier.
You think so?
It's hard to know. It's honestly hard to know. There's like you said, there's so many people all the time.
Yeah.
In this one community, so it's really hard keeping up with specific names. It's like we even see some throwbacks later in this episode from other season or like last season, and it's hard to even know who they are. But
yeah,
we'll get into that in a little bit. You keep carrying on. I like where we're going with this.
Yeah. And so then also, it shows Maggie being like her father, Herschel, showing Deanna. Is that her name? Deanna how to farm because it is important. It's easier to grow your own food rather than having to go out and get it all the time.
Seriously.
And that was, Herschel's thing over in the prison was that, he made Rick do it because, it was therapeutic and it helped him get through his stuff. So Maggie's doing that for Deanna now, which hopefully could help. But then while she's in the middle of showing her that, there's a guy, he's like watching along the fence. He just gets Molotov. Oh wait, no. This is how the attack happens. There's going to be an attack. And it's cool. It shows Carol cooking in her house. And she puts on the timer for 45 minutes.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And then she's just watching it out. And at first, when they were doing all this, I was getting frustrated because I was like, man, I don't want to see this shit.
Yeah, you guys just said like, I thought there was going to be like an attack and zombies.
Yeah, they were showing in the preview like, oh shit, stuff's going to go down. Like they're going to get attacked by zombies is what we were thinking. And so like, I was just like frustrated. I was like, I don't want to see this. I want to see what happened after
I want people
the
to
horn.
die.
Yeah,
Like,
I want shit to start happening. I don't care about developing these particular characters because they're not Carol, they're not Rick, they're not Daryl. They're going to die.
Maybe.
And no, I just assumed most Alexandrians are going to die because they're just so helpless.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But then like, you find out that they did that intentionally because they just out of nowhere, like Carol's looking out her window.
Oh, it's crazy.
Noticing that she's just smoking. And then you think like, oh, okay, she's going to like, hey, yeah, good job. You're smoking outside on your house.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, this dude just comes up, like chops her arm. And then she's on the ground and he just goes and like just machetes her face. And when we saw that, we were like,
did that
what
just
the
happen?
fuck just happened? And we rewinded it and we were like, that really happened.
Yeah, it was just crazy. And it kept going though. Like it was.
Oh yeah,
it was
once that shit happened and it hit, and like it just nonstop action, and it was great.
We were in shock.
It was, and so they showed that they cut to commercial, and that was a good commercial break too. Like usually I don't support commercial breaks, but that happened. That happened right at the right time. Yeah, and yeah, I mean you guys can take it from here as far as.
Well, then it came back. That's when
it showed Deanna again.
Yeah,
and then the guy getting Molotoved.
Oh yeah, it was nuts.
They heard screaming, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to explain because it was just a lot of chaos within the walls. It was actually, we ended up finding out it's the wolves that were the ones, invading their community. And it's so crazy. These guys are insane, man. They're not just killing people, but they're on top of them just like, once they're dead, continuing the chop. It's like just some freaking horror movie. Like, it's crazy.
And it's gory too. There's like guts all over the place because they're just smashing their bodies. Yeah. Like, and you still don't know what their motives are. They're just nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we really don't even learn because during this entire action sequence, obviously Carol goes into, he kind of pulls up, decides to, okay, let's get back into my superhero form. And she just goes out there and starts annihilating everybody. And it starts out with her, like, there's one person that she was talking to in that meeting, not the smoker girl, but there was also another girl, one of the Alexandrians.
I would say her friend. One of
her friends that was also they were swapping cooking tips.
And she ends up getting, like, sliced, and Carol ends up, like, seeing the dude from the wolves that slices her and ends up killing the person. And then she's, like, telling her to be quiet.
He's like, oh, shh.
Yeah, and of course, she stabbed her in the back of the head, just kind of like Rick did last episode to that annoying, I think it was Carter, right?
Carter, yeah.
Annoying asshole. But, anyway, it was a good way, like, just saying, like, okay, well, shit, she's for real. And during this time, we see what happened, and it cuts in between a lot, like between Carol and other characters. One of them is Deanna's son, who's up in the guard tower watching over, and you see a semi come down the freaking road and ready to ram straight into them, and it's one of the wolves, and he straight up drills it. Pretty good. Actually, good shot.
Yeah, it was a good
Shoots
shot.
the guy
shoots
that's
the driver,
driving,
yeah.
but of course, it runs straight into the walls. I don't think it actually broke them, though, did it?
No, the walls held, which was good for the walls.
Yeah, and the semi stopped, and the guy ended up dying and turning really quick. That was in the walls, and Deanna and Deanna's son ended up going out there and taking care of business and shutting the horn off. But we ended up finding out that was the horn. We all kind of knew it was the wolves in the last episode, but we weren't sure.
If it was intentional.
Yeah, was it the train horn? Where was it coming from? But it was kind of cool because before this episode, I personally was confused a little bit. I was like, so where are we? Like, is this, this has to be before, obviously. And that's why I think we both were kind of frustrated. Like, damn it. Like, we're all the way back. Like, we wanted to move forward.
Yeah.
But I take all that back. Like, this episode was great. And just watching the sequence of Melissa McBride going around, and kicking everyone's ass. Like, she straight up impersonates, like, one of the freaking wolves, puts, like, a W with the person's blood in one of the dudes she kills, and just starts going around.
Everyone's like, yeah, good job, whatever.
Yeah,
what was
they totally bite.
it was all fiend.
A feed.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, a feed, yeah.
And then she just goes up, pop, 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 like 4 of them in a row. It's great.
She pretends she captures Morgan, too, and they're like, oh, great catch.
Yeah. It's just so great how she does things. And, things worth noting, because you really have to, we could talk about this. There's a lot of kill scenes, but I think it's better if you guys were watching it. So if you haven't watched it, definitely go watch it. But,
it's great.
The big things to focus on is Morgan and Carol have some conflict a little bit. Morgan's not into killing people. He really wants to talk to them, I feel like, and,
teach them a lesson.
Exactly. Kind of understand where the morals are and make them understand, like, hey, we don't have to be this way.
With these people, you do.
Yeah, the wolves are absolutely insane. Like I said, it wasn't just one person that was like continually chopping people. It was like
all of them. Yeah.
All of them were just like continually stabbing people, and it just made absolutely no sense. And he catches one of the black guys. Morgan does, at least, one of these black dudes that was part of the wolves. And
he was trying to kill the priest, which, a little bit I was sad that I was just hoping he would just die.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, they're gonna cut him out. But no, Morgan saves him. And then he ties up that dude. Then do you guys remember what he says? He says something nonsensical.
He said, we freed you.
Yeah, we're freeing you. Yeah, he said, we're freeing you.
Yeah, he's like, we're freeing you. Humans people aren't supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Which pretty much inferring that, like
zombies.
Like normal people, I think, aren't supposed to be here. Like, these people are super normal. They haven't really changed yet. Besides, obviously, the group that just came in to protect them with Rick and Carol and everybody, but I don't know. There's I guess there's a lot of ways you could take that. I don't know if the wolves have had like a pinpoint on this facility for some time and known how they've operated. I don't think they did, personally. Otherwise,
I don't think they did either.
They probably already would have fucking murdered these people easy. Because if
they
Rick
could have done it at night.
Yeah, if Rick or Carol wasn't there, dude, they would have easily overtaken that place.
Oh yeah,
like it would have been like the easiest thing in the world. But the wolves are crazy.
And I think they'll make another appearance. I think they'll explain what they're about and where they're from and what made them.
There's got to be some backstory.
There's got to be, yeah. They got to focus a little bit on them, just so that they flesh them out a bit. But yeah, they're obviously insane or brainwashed or something.
Yeah, some of them didn't even make sense. They were just like mumbling random stuff, like ha ha ha. Like they just seemed like they were possessed a little bit. Yeah.
Well, but right after that guy says that, Carol's like, "Shut up."
Yeah, she just shoots him.
Yeah, Morgan just looks back at her like, "You crazy bitch." And there's even a scene where Morgan, makes his grand entrance, and you can kind of see him. He's made his way back from Rick and the group, kind of giving them a heads up, like, "Oh shit, everything's fucked." And I think he knew something was up, and he wanted to stop that horn with that truck. But he ends up coming into the village, and I'm trying to think, I think this was right when he made in, when he was talking to all, like, he was surrounded by like 5 of the wolves.
No, that's near the end.
Oh, is that near the end?
Because he ends up letting them go, and then he shuts the gate after them.
You're right, yeah. But yeah, anyway, that happens after all this fighting breaks out.
And one of them recognizes him, because he is from last season.
Yeah, he was from that season when he was sleeping in the car, wasn't he? And they ended up waking him up or something.
No, he was So there was the guy which he ends up killing later in this episode that joins him in the campfire, and then the other guy jumps him.
Yeah.
But he ends up messing both of them up.
Yeah. No, he could have killed them, but he let them live. And that's funny because like 5 guys are circling Morgan, and he just starts like just whooping their ass. It's so funny. Like knocks 4 of them on their ass, and that one guy
doesn't kill them though.
Yeah, it doesn't kill him because Morgan's not a killer. So we think. But anyway, yeah, he ends up telling them just to go, and they end up leaving. And one of the guys picks up a gun on the way out, which maybe that'll play a role later.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because obviously the wolves didn't have any weapons besides just your basic like knives, machetes, axes. They didn't have any guns or ammunition, which ultimately Carol immediately went to.
She realizes that too. She's like, "Listen, they don't have any guns, so we need to go to the armory."
And that's what she does. Although one thing that is to be worried about that we never really got any details on. One of the guys saw where she was at, where the armory was, and she shot him, but she didn't kill him. And it's kind of weird because the way the camera, like the way they filmed it was like they filmed like the blood splotches. And I thought Carol was going to track this dude down and murder him.
I feel like she had the capability to if she wanted to.
And maybe she still will. Maybe she'll get more insight and go out in the next couple episodes. But it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out with obviously all the walkers that are going to be about.
I think that guy would still die. He got shot in the back, in the chest.
Yeah, I saw him. Like
I had a theory that it was maybe because there was just like one random walker just walking around. It could have been that guy if he bled out. But they never really
that's true.
explain it, like what happened to him.
Yeah.
So maybe he got away and maybe he knows now where the armory is.
Yeah, which could be
could be a problem for them later on.
Yeah.
Because they need guns, obviously, and there's a shitload of guns in there.
Oh, dude.
Enough for all of them.
They're loaded.
Yeah.
They're so loaded right now. It's great. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. After that whole firefight happened, I mean, one thing we're missing is there's a little bit of moments in here with Carl. And Carl's walking about, and I'm trying to think, what was that douchebag? I can't ever remember. Ron.
Stop it, Ron.
Yeah. Ron, he's Pete's son, the guy that Rick ended up killing. But yeah.
Oh, before you go into Ron, there was also this funny moment before everything happened with Carol when she's going to her house to make that casserole.
Yeah, she talks to the kid.
Yeah, there's Pete's little son, who's sitting at her porch acting all depressed, and she's just like, your dad used to beat you and now he's dead for it. Deal with it. She's just so blunt about it.
Dude, Melissa McBride was amazing in this episode. I love when
this was easily one of her best episodes I think she's ever done.
Oh, absolutely.
She was great.
The way she was like, deal with it and move on.
Yeah, it's just so funny because, she plays so many different roles, like, within the community. And that kid really knows who, like, the badass Carol is.
Oh, yeah. Because last season, he tried to, like, blackmail her for cookies or something?
Yeah, you need to make me cookies or I'm going to tell everybody.
Yeah, because she had a gun. And then she ends up, like, threatening him at the end of the last season about, like, tying him to a tree. And
like, you're going to scream and nobody's going to care.
Yeah. Which would terrify me as a child.
Oh, yeah.
But,
yeah, it was great, though.
Yeah, she's great. She's awesome.
Yeah, but I guess to get into the Carl part, I mean, I guess we can go back a little bit before all this even happens. The wolves break in. Carl's walking Judith in the stroller around the community.
Oh, nice. Just taking a little stroll.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. Kind of like, it reminds you of like, oh, wow, well, humanity maybe hasn't fallen, but clearly it has. But it's just kind of a cool break. And he sees Ron and
Enid.
Enid, there you go.
Enid.
Just seems so wrong to say. But yeah, anyway, he sees Ron and Enid. They're hugging it out. Which I guess we kind of learn a little bit later. It was kind of her goodbye to Ron. Cause
you think so?
Yeah.
Well, that's what she inferred because she ends up coming into Carl's house and Carl's watching Judith. And he's got a freaking gun ready to just blow anything that comes through the door. And he ends up doing it because Ron ends up running. Actually, I'll get to that in a second. But anyway, Enid ends up coming over and she's going to say goodbye to Carl. And Carl's like, no, you have to stay. You have to help me protect Judith. And she's like, well, I'm going to leave, which I was like, holy crap. Well, she's just going to dip. Like, after all that, like, he's just going to dip. That's crazy. But anyway, like,
she was smart about it though. She was like, listen, this place is too big to protect. Yeah. And they're just people. So, I mean, I'm just going to leave.
Yeah.
But he does convince her to stay, which is good because for the baby, of course.
Yeah. I mean, at least until later on, she ends up leaving.
Yeah.
And, we end up learning later also what JSS means for it, but before we get there, there's one scene where Ron's running away. There's this psycho dude chasing him. He's like, with like some like a butcher knife or something, and he's just like running away. And you can tell this guy's about to.
I was really hoping he would kill him. I hate Ron so much.
Yeah.
I think Ron could turn around though. He's a kid.
I don't think
kids are.
No,
I don't know. I think kids are really like Carl used to annoy the shit out of us. I think Carl.
He
really
still
cool.
does. I don't like Carl. That's why I'm letting you tell the Carl thing.
I don't mind Coral, but Ron can die immediately, and he's gonna try to fuck with Rick. I know he is, and he's gonna screw someone over, either Carl or Rick, one of them, and.
I mean,
he's gonna screw shit up, or he's gonna do something stupid like join the wolves and tell them how to get in. Like he's gonna do something dumb, and he needs to die. But I know they're gonna play that out. He's gonna do something.
We'll see. I mean,
I
there's so many people up for
character,
grabs still. Even with a lot of the deaths that have happened this episode, there's still a lot of characters that could die.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
It's really, I still think it's an open book who could die. I don't think Ron necessarily. Well, I don't know if he'll screw anybody over. I don't know if he'll even make it till then because there's still a whole lot that has to happen. Like the zombies, by the time this episode was over, the zombies haven't even reached where they're at, which kind of makes sense.
If they do, we still don't even know if they actually do. They just showed them, heading that direction, but I'm sure Rick and everyone's going to do everything they can to keep the herd together. Yeah,
prevent it from happening. Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be interesting. Carl ends up saving Ron's life, though, by the way. When Ron's running away from that guy, he shoots the dude in the freaking eye, and he's just, playing dead like a possum. Like, oh, stop, man, don't do it, don't shoot another one. And then Carl lets off his guard for a second, and the guy almost takes the gun away. And it could have been really bad, but Carl shoots him again. Which, I don't necessarily know if he killed him. I don't think that was really confirmed. I don't think he did.
I'm pretty sure he was... No, yeah, he was dead. You could see him... Carl was looking out his window, and you could see his body outside, good. So he was dead.
Yeah, and then Carl's like, Ron, come in here, I can protect you. And Ron just like, fuck you, man, because he sees a Nid looking out the door.
He's jealous or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, it's just stupid. I'm like, come on, man. But, yeah, anyway, that happens, and after everything's over and done, Carl ends up... I'm trying to think what happens, because where did he Nid? She just randomly disappeared.
They were hanging out in the house, and that's when she explains that she just needs to go.
Where does he go though? Because he goes somewhere, and then
I think he was looking out. That was when he was looking out the window at the dead body.
Yeah,
and then he's like, "All right, I think it's clear." And then she's just gone. And then that's when he finds her little note that says, "Just survived somehow," which is JSS, which is cool. It's a good word to live by. Cause she knows very well how to survive, and they're going to go through some rough times now. Now that this whole thing happened, I'm really curious where they're going to take it from here, how they're going to rebuild. And I mean, basically what's left is most of the Alexandrians are dead.
Yeah.
Just the ones that had some skills, like the dude from last season. I don't know if they ever showed they did show his boyfriend still alive at the surgeon.
Him, his boyfriend are alive. The guy from One Tree Hill.
Julian from One Tree Hill. Deanna, her son.
Deanna. The blonde, we forgot about her. And
there's that scene too.
That was, we missed a really important part.
While they're getting attacked.
We apologize.
There's that small, dumb little child, that wanted cookies.
Yeah, you want to tell us?
But
you brought it up.
He's so
go ahead. You can explain it.
You should explain
He's a cute kid though. He's not.
Yeah. Right.
He's just innocent, I guess. He doesn't know any better.
Going back to the last podcast we had, and you said, I don't know if it's the wolves that they're hiding from or the walkers in the house. And I was like, no, they're hiding from people because they're hiding in a closet and they have it locked. Like that's
true. Yeah,
but that's what they were doing. They were hiding.
From the
closet, and then the stupid Ron comes in in the house, and she's like, "Oh no!"
Yeah, you can hear him.
He's knocking on the door.
Mom.
Yeah. But you see, while she's in the closet, it's like one of those,
what are they called? Like
shutter closets?
Shutters, but they don't open. They're just vent.
But you could see a shadow past the closet. And so someone's clearly in there. But then she hears Ron, knocking on the door, saying, Mom, let me in, blah, blah. He was stupid. I hate him. So then she's just she ends up staying out and then, leaving her other kid in the closet. And
she's like, shut the fuck up. No.
She should have been.
No, she's like, shh.
And she's like,
stay outside,
so
Ron.
Yeah, stay outside. And then that's when the lady attacks her. You can continue from there.
She grabs the scissors. Oh yeah, because they were doing haircuts. And that's another stupid thing that Ron did. He was like, you're not cutting my stupid hair.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to. What does he say? He curses at her.
He's like, I don't want to. He's like, this is bullshit. Bullshit. The only reason you want to cut my hair is to talk to me. I don't want to talk to you. Yeah. Like, pretty much that, like,
that's, she's like, we need to talk about some things.
That's before everything happened, because she was giving haircuts to everybody, and Ron.
You don't say that to your mother.
I mean, you can kind of.
She just let it go. She was like, huh? Did what?
And then he's like, and then she's like, Rick's just trying to protect us. And then he's like,
Rick's dangerous.
Is Rick your friend? And she's like, yeah, Rick's my friend. And he just gets all mad and storms off.
The scissors were still on the counter from that.
From her trying to cut his hair.
So right after she says that, don't come inside. She grabs the scissors and sees that the lady, and just starts stabbing her right in the chest. Yeah. And I'm sure she got like the trachea and like
it was squirting out.
Got all on her.
No, she became one of the wolves right there. She didn't do it once. She
just became a Carol. That's all she did.
I mean, when you're a mother, you just go into beast mode, and if you want to protect your children, you
gotta protect your kin no matter what.
What's funny is you guys right before she stabbed the girl in the head, you both were like, "You gotta kill her."
Oh yeah, she's gonna zombify if you don't.
And then she was like,
right before commercial break, right there. She's like, ah!
And the last blow
was like the most intense last blow I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. And then straight to commercial.
Yeah, it was good though. I mean, that was a good scene, and it was funny because it's like the wolves. It was like she got lucky because most of the wolves were pretty relentless. They weren't like letting off. They would make sure you were dead.
Oh yeah,
she just got like choked. Like she just got choked.
She went to go pick up the gun. Yeah,
and she kind of played dead a little bit. Like, oh, that's true because she did have a gun that she was going to shoot her with.
Of course, she was sucked ass with it.
Yeah. That'll change. I think she'll be around a little bit. Be maybe Rick's new interest.
Well, they were.
I don't know if she'll let him in.
We'll see. We'll see. But I mean, that happened, and I'm trying to think where this episode left off specifically. After all the fighting took place.
Yeah.
Morgan and her.
That happened. No, but also they're all checking the bodies. The dude, the scout guy, was checking all the bodies, stabbing the wolves in the head if they weren't already done so. Then he finds his old backpack, which was left last season at that trap that Daryl and him were at, and that's where they met Morgan. And then he sees like, oh shit, they have my backpack, and he sees all the photos that he had of the place in there, and he's like, well, that I must have led them to Alexandria. So, I mean, I'm sure he's going to feel a lot of guilt from that. He probably will blame himself.
Does it say, though? There was no map or anything. It's just pictures.
There's no map, but you find pictures like that, you obviously can see that there's a big settlement. You see the walls, so you know the kind of walls that they have. So, like, a truck could have gone through that. Well, I guess not. So they thought. Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. I think things are only going to get worse. And one thing we were talking about, kind of taking it back a little bit, but they drove a semi into the place, and we thought the semi, because if you remember from season 5, there was when Morgan was at the Wolves like actual base, he went into semi and there was tons of walkers in the back of it.
Inside it, yeah,
and they didn't even open the back, so it
makes me wonder. No, there could be walkers in there.
Could play a role to kill somebody.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
They had some funny song playing, and when they to bring them back in, but they were normally truckloads of walkers in there.
Yeah, so we'll see. I think it's gonna be interesting how everything plays out. Like, I think the wolves will come back because they pretty much fled.
I don't know if we'll get the answers next episode though.
No,
they're going back and forth between.
No way.
Yeah, so they didn't talk about Rick and his group at all, like for the herd and everything. So I think they're gonna hopefully finish that up next episode,
get everyone back
together, and then he'll see the aftermath, and I'm sure he'll give Deanna the "I told you so," because he was saying all along, they need weapons inside, they need training, this doesn't cut it if someone attacks. And the cool thing was, you kind of see Deanna, when she sees everything happening, like her face is just like stone dead.
She's traumatized,
but
I know she has it in her.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. It's just she's just never seen that before. They've all been sheltered, and I think she finally realized now that I understand what Rick is saying now.
Oh yeah.
Like, I think they'll do whatever he wants to do now.
I think he's already obviously in control. We learned that.
Yeah, but she still had that one thing last episode, which was the weapons.
Yeah, and I think she's a believer now.
Oh yeah,
and I think she's at that point where she can turn into quite a
Carol,
a killer herself. So
yeah,
I'm actually excited to see how Deanna turns. She looked like, she just looked so changed. Like, like just disgruntled a little.
And she ended up hiding inside the truck next to a dead zombie and
didn't even phase her almost. Like she just got in there and looked at it for a second and just looked straight. Yeah. And I was just like, oh my gosh.
But she was clearly scared because she was like, I have no guns, I have no training. And I'm sure she's regretting it at that moment, stopping Rick from doing that.
Yeah.
Because he was willing to train her and give her guns. Another cool thing was, it was after the whole thing too, when they were cleaning up, they show the guy from One Tree Hill, which is Julian. We'll just call him that for now, since that's his name in One Tree Hill. And then Rosita are walking together, or is it Maggie? Oh, no, it was Rosita, yeah.
It was Rosita.
Yeah, and Julian's just like, so is this what it's like outside? And she's like, yeah, pretty much. Like, it's like, no big deal. And he was like, how do you live like this?
And she just looked at him.
She was like, really? She's like, oh, God. And she's like, well, I mean, I guess you just, our group is what makes me carry on. You need something to die for.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just funny how just shocked he was. It's like, they've all been telling them all along, like, this is what the world's like. You need to adapt. And it's just funny how they needed that to happen in order to.
Yeah, now they'll all believe it, though. Tenfold.
Oh, yeah.
They'll either, get with it or get dead.
Yep.
So, one thing we missed too, Morgan, obviously, we didn't talk about him at the end. At the end of this, pretty much the end of this episode, what happens is he's, going into, I think they're just clearing houses and stuff, making sure that everyone's gone and dead. And he walks into a house and he can kind of tell he can tell something's going on. He goes inside the house and, you can kind of see behind the wall, there's this dude with is it a sieve? What is it called?
Oh, no, it's a machete.
It's a machete.
Was it a machete he had?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he had like a sickle or something.
Curved.
Oh, it was curved? So it's a sickle then.
Yeah, it's a sickle. That's what I thought it was.
Or scimitar?
Either way, he had some kind of sharp blade. I don't know, it doesn't even matter. I'm not going to get into it.
You chop people's heads off.
Yeah, you could pretty much murder somebody within a heartbeat. And, he ends up seeing him and thinking about Morgan, he's awesome. Like, he's so he's got like a sixth sense about him. Like, he can just tell when shit's not right.
Yeah.
And you could tell that dude was immediately in the house. And that was the guy that, back in season 5 almost tried to kill him and he let live. And it was funny because,
he recognized him immediately.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it's you.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Morgan refused to, kill him after he was kicking his ass a little bit. And then the guy's like, you still won't do it. And, like, he pretty much called Morgan weak because he wouldn't kill.
Yeah, and he's like, and you should have.
Yeah.
Back then, yeah.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, he just tries to go on and kick his ass, and Morgan just does a couple quick swings with his fucking staff, man, and destroys this guy. And he's laying down, and what does he say? He says something to this dude.
He basically apologizes, just like, I'm sorry. And then
said, I'm sorry. And then,
and they cut away, and I guess there was some disagreement between us whether or not he was actually dead. I'm pretty sure he's dead, but
I don't think so.
I think it'd be interesting to keep him alive because they killed everyone. They don't have anyone to kind of that was kind of Carol's fault. Like, she didn't give a shit. Like, and I don't blame her. Like, a lot of the people that were there, I don't think they would have spoken anyway because they were crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if what she's thinking is, do they even care? Do they even want answers? Like, she just
I don't think she cares. No.
Die. Just kill them.
Protect, make them scared, make them fear us because we're better than them. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. The Wolves, obviously, I don't think are done. But yeah, I think there was a disagreement between us whether he's alive or not. I think the more I think about it, he probably is dead. But it would be interesting to see if they kept him alive because
I guess we'll find out in another episode, maybe.
Well, Carol will just walk into the house and she'll just kill him.
Yeah, Carol will be like,
you
finish him, Morgan. I got it.
Yeah, I got this.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. This season's been actually really good so far in this episode. Like, really turned around really quick. So I was worried, like you were. It was like, man, this is going to be really slow.
Yeah, I was like, man, it's another slow
and
episode.
They just turned around when they started They started that 45-minute timer.
You guys were so sad. You were like, oh, yeah.
I know. I was about to be like, dude, I don't even want to watch this right now. I'm not in the mood for this.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it turned around great. And it was honestly a fantastic episode. One of the better episodes I've seen of The Walking Dead, period.
Yeah.
So you should really check it out if you haven't. Great episode. And I honestly, I don't even know what could happen next. I think walkers are going to have to maybe not all of them, but a lot of them, I think.
That horn was a problem. It was, I mean, clearly you saw last episode that it drew something, some attention.
I know it was a trucker horn, but still, they're 20 miles away.
That's loud. The trucker horns.
I know it's a loud horn, but that sounded, the way they made it sound was like right.
Yeah, it sounded like one of those like.
It sounded like a tornado warning.
Yeah, like a tornado alarm.
Not like a truck horn.
Yeah.
But hey.
Well, I mean, now that this is what makes me wonder. If I had a semi that was like someone broken, parked in the front of my property, I would just fortify my walls somewhere with that.
With the truck? Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like, well, thanks for the semi. Or I would just like try to see if it would start working again, because it didn't get banged up that bad.
No, it's just the driver was dead. So
yeah,
they
I'd be like,
go anywhere.
because they could take that and just take the horn and just take the fleet somewhere with that truck. Like, can you imagine if they
could, but they'd have to act really fast, and I don't think they're going to do that. They're still all with the herd, and I think they're going to focus on just getting the herd out.
Yeah.
And they probably will do that. Probably they'll have some issues, obviously, because of what happened, but next episode in the preview, they kind of just focused on showing Rick and his group, them, and what they're dealing with. They didn't show any of the characters in Alexandria, so I think they're going to just focus on that next episode. And maybe 2 weeks from now, we'll see, what's going to happen in Alexandria. Hopefully they're just all back together, because I hate it when they split up the group like that.
It just makes you miss, it's like almost like being, having your parents divorce. Like, you go one weekend at your mom's house, the next weekend it's like, damn it, I want to see my mom this weekend.
Yeah.
Or I want to be with both of them. Why can't I be with both of them?
Although I did like how, I think it was last season, it was the season before, where all of them were split up. That was cool. Because they all went through their own journey. And
they focused a lot on just developing a lot of characters.
Yeah. And I actually did enjoy that. But this separation, I just want them to get that over with.
Yeah, I think we will. Next episode, I think.
It's because our main characters are separated.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the main powerful, like Daryl, Rick, Michonne, they would have. Well, Carol luckily stayed back, and I think. Thank God they did. I'm saying
that's who split up. Like Carol,
Carol and all the. Yeah, she split up. Well, I mean, Rosita too. She counts, and Eugene, and Tara. Yeah. Were there anybody else from the main group?
No, that's pretty much it.
No, yeah,
because pretty much all
everyone else was Alexandria. Maggie was there too.
Oh, duh.
Yeah,
Maggie,
with Deanna.
Coral.
Yeah. Oh, Coral.
Yeah, no one cares.
But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I think we'll get back to everyone being together, I think, within 2 episodes.
And I'm excited about this season. I can't wait to see where they take it.
Yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah.
I still think the season premiere was kind of a little a letdown if you're considering it.
This made up for it to me.
Yeah,
I don't even care.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't care either. As long as you have a good season. And honestly, the way you start, if it finishes and just continues to build off every episode, that's a great season.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great series. So The Walking Dead's doing a lot of good stuff. I've been disappointed with the season since season 3.
Yeah.
And you made me watch it again, and I'm glad I did. I love this show. So. Yeah.
So that's our thoughts on episode 2 of season 6 of The Walking Dead. This wraps up DeadCast episode 8. Do you guys have any last thoughts, Brandon? No?
I said everything I needed.
All right.
Give us a thumbs up, people, if you like us.
Yeah. Subscribe to us also if you want to continue to see more DeadCast episodes. Write in the comments if you want to discuss this episode. We do love it when you guys talk to us, and we try to respond back as soon as possible.
Please.
And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and our insight on The Walking Dead. See you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.